Have you ever heard of an empire born from a throne that fell from the sky? It sounds like a legend, but this is the incredible story of the Asante Empire, a powerful force that shaped West African history for centuries. Get ready to travel back in time to the dense forests of what is now modern-day Ghana, where a legend was forged in gold. Before the 17th century, the Akan people, who would become the Asante, were a collection of independent states. They shared a common language and culture, but they were often in conflict with each other and, more importantly, under the thumb of a powerful neighboring kingdom, the Denkyira. The Denkyira were ruthless rulers, demanding heavy tribute and treating the Akan states with disdain. Imagine living under constant pressure, your resources drained, your people disrespected. The desire for freedom and unity was growing stronger every day. This was the world that a young man named Osei Tutu was born into. Osei Tutu was not just anyone. He was a royal of the Oyoko clan, one of the most prominent Akan groups. As a young man, he was sent as a hostage to the court of the Denkyira king, a common practice to ensure the loyalty of vassal states. But this was no ordinary imprisonment. At the Denkyira court, Osei Tutu learned everything about their military strategies, political structures, and, crucially, their weaknesses. He saw their arrogance and their overconfidence firsthand. He also forged a lifelong friendship with another remarkable individual, a priest named Okomfo Anokye. This friendship would change the course of history. After escaping the Denkyira court, Osei Tutu returned to his people with a vision. He knew that the only way to break free from Denkyira's control was to unite the scattered Akan states. This was a monumental task. These states had their own chiefs, their own interests, and long-standing rivalries. How could he convince them to set aside their differences and fight for a common cause? This is where his friend, Okomfo Anokye, played a pivotal role. Okomfo Anokye was more than just a priest. He was a brilliant strategist and a charismatic leader with a deep understanding of Akan spirituality. He and Osei Tutu knew that political and military alliances were not enough. They needed a symbol, a powerful, sacred symbol that would bind the people together, not just in an agreement, but in their souls. They needed something that represented their collective identity, their past, and their future. So Okomfo Anokye called for a great gathering of all the chiefs and elders from the Akan states in Kumasi, which would become the capital of their new nation. On a momentous Friday, under a sky filled with thunder and lightning, Anokye began his incantations. As the crowd watched in awe, he summoned a miraculous object from the heavens. A magnificent stool, covered entirely in gold, slowly descended and came to rest gently on Osei Tutu's lap. This was not just any stool. Okomfo Anokye declared that this golden stool, the Sika Dwa Kofi, contained the sunsum, the spirit, soul, and unity of the entire Asante people. It was the embodiment of their nation. It was more sacred than any king, including Osei Tutu himself. No one was ever to sit on it, and its safety was paramount. Losing the golden stool would mean the disintegration of the Asante nation. This single powerful act of political and spiritual genius united the clans. They were no longer just Oyoko, Bratuo, or Asona. They were now one people, the Asante. Osei Tutu was sworn in as the first Asantehene, the king of the united Asante nation. With his people united by the sacred golden stool, Osei Tutu, with Okomfo Anokye by his side, began to build a formidable state. They created a constitution, established laws, and most importantly, organized a highly disciplined and effective army. The new Asante army was unlike anything the region had seen. It was structured with different wings, an advance guard, a main body, a rear guard, and personal bodyguards for the king, all capable of complex maneuvers. They were ready to face their old masters. The inevitable war with Denkyira finally came. It was a long and brutal conflict, culminating in the Battle of Fayes in 1701. The Denkyira king, Ntimgyakari, was so confident of victory that he was reportedly playing a game of Ower in his camp when the Asante army attacked. The Asante, fighting with the passion of a newly freed people, crushed the Denkyira forces. Ntimgyakari was captured and defeated. This victory was a turning point. It marked the end of Denkyira dominance and the official birth of the Asante Empire. News of their victory spread like wildfire. The Asante had not only won their freedom, but had also proven the power of their unity. Osei Tutu and Okomfo Anokye had successfully transformed a collection of vassal states into a centralized, powerful empire that would go on to dominate the region for the next 2 centuries. They controlled major trade routes, particularly in gold and enslaved people, which brought immense wealth and influence. The Golden Stool remained at the heart of their culture, a symbol of their strength and divine right to rule so powerful that a later attempt by the British to capture it would lead to the famous War of the Golden Stool. The story of the Asante Empire's formation is a powerful lesson in leadership, strategy, and the importance of a unifying symbol. It shows how 2 visionary friends, a brave prince and a wise priest, could inspire a people to cast off their chains and build a nation that would leave a lasting legacy on the world. The echo of Okomfo Anokye's drumming and the gleam of the Golden Stool still resonate in the heart of Ghana today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the history of the magnificent Asante Empire. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible stories from history, and share this video with someone who loves a good tale of power, magic, and revolution. Let me know in the comments what other historical empires you'd like to explore next. Until next time, stay curious.